In your opinion, how has the real estate marketing landscape evolved over the years? How has Cityblock adapted to these changes?
We've had a crazy 5 years, obviously the big C. No one knew what to do and how to do it. So what you saw was a lot of digital products coming out, a lot of buy your home online. CRM started to become more important. So a lot of those digital, now AI, that is a huge adjustment. As a progressive company, we're always looking ahead to see what is kind of coming down the road, if we can. And if we can't, we look at it and say, does this make sense? Or is this a fad? Is this something that's just for the time and go away?
What sets Cityblock's approach apart when it comes to marketing residential and multifamily projects, in a competitive market?
Your service model and your process model is what's going to, I guess, give you an upper hand. You'll hear the word value all the time. So companies will always say, oh, we always produce value. We always produce value. And the question is how. And how you do that to me is through action. And that action translates to your service.
Welcome to the Mastering Property Management Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Sarbit. Join me as we delve into candid conversations with industry experts to uncover their strategies and insights for achieving success in property management. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, let's elevate your property management skills together. Hi, everybody. I'm Jared Sarbit. This is Mastering Property Management. And today I have the honor and privilege of having Arif Maherali on, the CEO and co-founder of Cityblock Agency. Arif, so happy to have you on here.
Jared, my pleasure. I've been looking forward to this for a few months. So
likewise.
Happy to get into it. Yeah.
Awesome. You have such a great story. I can't wait to dig in here. First of all, Arif, tell me, give me a brief overview of who Cityblock Agency is, and how it came to be in 2018. And just kind of, tell us some major milestones. You can go back as far back as you want, and we'd love to hear the story.
Perfect. So Cityblock is a real estate sales and marketing solutions firm. And it's a sales and marketing solutions firm because we felt that in real estate, the two entities, they lived on different islands. And so we're like, how do we bring them together with a proper strategy to ensure that the leads are getting taken care of, and then sales are able to nurture them, and in the end, purchase a home, rent a unit, a purpose-built building, whatever the case may be. So that's what we help facilitate. But it started in 2018 after I decided to learn how to become a builder. So in 2014, I started my own construction company, did it for 4 years, did it very successfully, but was super stressed out because not only are you building or renovating, in homes or whatever the case may be, but you're dealing with clients, you're dealing with warranty, you need a team around you. So from 2014 to 2018, I started the business. I was in the business. I grew it via marketing. So I did a lot of social media and a lot of taking my phone around and documenting the process of working with a contractor. And in 2018, I realized, you know what? I hate this. I can't do the construction side of it. Like, you need a good team behind you, a good site super and trades. So we were having a baby at the time, and my wife said, you got to figure this out because you're getting sick, which I was very stressed out. And I said, well, why don't I offer marketing services for builders and developers? Look at that as a solution. And so I already had a list of companies that were wanting to work with us, and that's where the business started. Now it's a full-fledged marketing solutions and, again, sales support organization.
Amazing. What a great story. And for you to be able to understand, your clients, inside and out, that's huge. You had so much value there. You're not starting off as a marketing company trying to understand and try to, tailor yourself to an industry that you don't know. So that's brilliant. And the construction industry, I also see from afar that it is a very, very difficult industry. The cash flow and dealing with different trades and all that stuff. There's so many moving parts. So I don't blame you for feeling that way. That's for sure. But congrats.
Yeah, sorry. And just how you conduct yourself in that industry. I mean, you want to be honest, right? Everyone hears about contractors being dishonest, and I was one of those honest contractors. And I tried my best to facilitate that, keep that going. But you're right. Like if you're not built, you need cash flow, you need good systems, you need processes, and all of those things. And the ones that have those in place do very well. But I was honest with myself and said, not for me. So
Yeah, yeah. Well done. Well, look at that. It turned into an amazing business now. So, tell me a little bit about yourself specifically. What are some of the key characteristics that have gotten you to this point? And tell me a little bit about Arif personally.
well, Reef personally is probably a serial entrepreneur. So this isn't my first business. I've probably had 5 to 8 different businesses from my younger years, through schooling to this. I've also worked corporate. So I wanted a taste of like working downtown in one of the high rises and having the cushy job to just come back to this, right? So clearly I'm driven. I love entrepreneurism. I love to see something come from a concept to fruition and grow that. So I'd say that's a skill set that I love. And I love connecting. So I think the one thing I'm starting to realize and people are telling me is that I'm a huge networker and connector without any initiative. So if I meet you and you have a business and I know someone else that's in the same space, I'll be the first person to connect you guys, step away and let you guys carry on what I think could be a great relationship. And so um, that's just me as a person. Other than that, obviously I have a family, love to golf, love to play basketball, um, and run my business. Like I love what we're doing right now. And, real estate is crazy, especially in Alberta. Um, so it's a great time. Yeah.
Awesome. Talking about connecting, I have to do a shout out to Rowan over at VMSA, who introduced the two of us. And VMSA is an amazing mentoring program that both myself and you're in. Huge shout out to Rowan for connecting us, and a shout out to VMSA for the great work they do. So had to throw that in there.
Absolutely. What a massive asset to us and to any entrepreneur. Their program is bar none, it's been huge for my business and I'm sure yours. So for anyone to that is trying to explore that mentorship side of the business, definitely look them up. Yeah.
Yeah, really incredible. Yeah, check them out if you're a business owner and looking for some serious mentorship. This is the place to go, and they have some heavy hitters there that have helped guide me. I think I've been in it for over a year now, and it's been incredibly valuable. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, very good. You also hold a Bachelor of Commerce from Mount Royal University. How has that education helped shape your approach to running Cityblock?
A long time ago. Oh man, I might be controversial here, but I'm always about honesty. I do often reflect back on my education and how it's contributed to who I am today. And I'm sure it has in some way, shape, or form, but it's a far distant memory. So the courses that I think stood out for me that I would maybe reflect on is probably economics and marketing. Um, the finance and all the accounting and stuff, that's not my jam. It never is, but I have people around me to take care of that. You got to understand your numbers, of course. But when it comes to strategic growth and stuff, you need some horsepower. You should have people around that. So they were great days, obviously, but the best education for me is going out and learning in the field and doing and working for great companies, having mentors and great leaders and managers, and that really was the education. But I'll never discount what Mount Royal, and I even had a stint at UC after that gave me. But it's a fast paced world, and especially for an entrepreneur. And the best way I found is like when I left, it was like, holy cow, they couldn't possibly show you this in school. Here we go, right? Let's get into it. So yeah, I mean, it's contributed in some way. I just, I'm sure, but I can't really pick out certain things that,
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Awesome. Let's get into Cityblock a little bit. So what sets Cityblock's approach apart when it comes to marketing residential and multifamily projects, in a competitive market?
Yeah, it's so in a competitive market, I would say your service model and your process model is what's going to, I guess, give you an upper hand. I think there's this, you'll hear the word value all the time. So companies will say, oh, we always produce value. We always produce value. And the question is how. And how you do that to me is through action. And that action translate to your service, right? Like, how do you communicate with your clients? Even for the builders and developers, their client experience and how much they care about that. Because there's a lot of choice. And there's a lot of competition, and everyone is in everyone's face saying, hey, we're better. Look at us here. And it's like, okay, well, how can you break that down and to understand, like, what is it the client needs and how does your business actually facilitate that? And showing them the processes you have in place and the how is what I think that's one company, it gives the advantage to one company over another, as opposed to just the lip service and saying we're this good, we do this, or here's our marketing stuff, like this is the graphic design, and it's not enough. Like, you got to dig deeper, because every dollar spent today, people want some sort of return in a big way, and it's down to dollars, but it's also down to, like, if I'm paying for you, what do I get? And if it's good service and high touch client experience, you're already winning.
Amazing. So when you're doing the marketing for these developers, are you creating the concept, creating the graphic design, doing everything like A to Z, getting it on all the platforms where you need it, analyzing the results and all that? Is that basically what we can get from Cityblock?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we can get pulled in at any point in a project. But if it was from the beginning, absolutely, we start talking about positioning, right? Branding, naming. So our latest one is a 432 unit purpose-built project where there was no name, there was no branding. And so we started there. And you need to start there, because everything starts to grow from that brand and that name. And so then your website comes into play, then your social comes into play, then your digital ad strategy. Everything grows around that brand guide and branding. So we'll start right from there, or we'll get pulled in who knows where in the evolution of a project. And we'll step in and take it from there. But the full spectrum is, yes, what we do.
Amazing. Do you ever step into a project that's already been, sold and developed, and they just want more of a kind of a branding kind of realignment? Do you do that as well?
100%. Yeah, we get pulled in any, I guess, component of marketing that you can think of. We can get pulled in at any time. Now, the later you're into something, you kind of got to go back and see where you're coming from, where are we today, and where do we need to go? And so that's, we'll sit down at the table and kind of position that before we move forward to understand where a company has evolved from to where we need to go. So yeah, I mean, ideally, it's great to start at the beginning of the project, but that more times than not, that's not the case. We get pulled in. Sometimes we get developers that marketing was an afterthought. And building is up, let's say, building is up, ready to get occupied. And they're like, oh, we got to get this thing marketed. And that's a scramble. That's tough, because marketing can take to start a proper marketing strategy and plan, you're talking 12 months plus before it's, ready to launch. You got to think that much back because there's all these components and levers that you got to pull along the way. And one depends on the next. So that's just how it works.
Wow. That's incredible. I didn't realize it would be that much time, but it does. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. You have to do a lot of the back work. Is that like website positioning and getting all your Google ads ready and all that kind of stuff? And yeah, awesome. Very cool. In your opinion, how has the real estate marketing landscape evolved over the years? How has Cityblock adapted to these changes?
Great question. We've had a crazy 5 years. Obviously, the big C, COVID. No one knew what to do and how to do it. So what you saw was a lot of digital products coming out. A lot of buy your home online. CRM started to become more important. So a lot of those digital, now AI, talk about the last 5 years, that is a huge adjustment. And so as a progressive company, we're always looking ahead to see what's kind of coming down the road if we can. And if we can't, we look at it and say, does this make sense? Or is this a fad? Is this something that's just for the time and go away? We've seen some examples of both of those things. So buying and selling online, the concept makes sense, but people still need to feel in touch and they continue to want to do that. So there could be components of that, but it's not the end all be all. We still need show homes. We still need leasing centers. We still need a place for people to come and start that journey to better understand where they're going to live and what they're going to spend their money on. And so I would say that with this new age of online services and products, you still need to come back to the basics and bring those together. And AI is another thing, right? No one really understands it. It's doing very powerful things, but it's like, you're not going to go all in on it. You're going to sprinkle some things in to what you do already and adapt that way. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very cool. That's some very good insight. And yeah, I imagine, with COVID, it must have just been such a shakeup on the purchasing path that people take. So without giving all your secrets away, how important is SEO to that path, or is it Google Ads that's more important, or is it kind of a both combined? Or
yeah, good question. I mean, we get asked this question all the time, and or told kind of how to do things. So your online marketing strategy is a combination of things and they all feed off of each other. So to say that one thing like SEO is the answer, I would argue to say, well, it isn't. To say your website is the only answer, it's not. What the answer is to understand the journey of the client and where they go to get their information. So you've got inbound leads, which is your Google, your Meta, maybe some of your social, to make people aware of your product or service. They then need to do something. So what do? They go to a website. That website has to be logically laid out so they don't waste their time. They get what you do and they want to act, to fill out a form or make a phone call. So you can see already those two are dependent on each other. So you can't have one without the other. And then your SEO is going to drive your website to capture those organic searches. So you're not paying for these. People are going in Google and saying, rentals in Northwest Calgary, and your building shows up, etc. That's going to help if your website has the right keywords and SEO copy in it. Those all work together, right? So to me, when I talk to clients, I say, you got to look at marketing as a strategy, and there's components that are a must to work together to make this worth the value. And this is how it works. And then, but if you start just filling up holes in a sinking boat, it doesn't work. You're wasting your money. So I would say it's a combination.
Makes sense. And I didn't mention social media, but you briefly did. But is that another component that Cityblock spends, significant time on as well? Or
Yeah,
is that
yeah,
important on
absolutely.
Instagram? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We look at, LinkedIn right now, I would say is depending on the business, but what an amazing place to be. It's still organically you can do very well. Instagram is getting expensive and it's pay to play but organically you still want to have kind of a story around your company. And that's a great place to do it where people can see the day in the life of your brand on Instagram. And I don't kid yourself. When someone's doing a search, they're looking in many areas. Are you legit? Are you the builder you say you are? So Instagram or Facebook's a great place to land to say, oh yeah, wow, they actually do build in this community, or look at all these buyers, or they've got a lot of spec product that we can go look at. So very important. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. More a little bit on tech. On your website, you talk about, your expertise in HubSpot. So tell me a little bit about, how that benefits your builders. How has it revolutionized, the sales process for developers, and why do you find it so valuable?
Do you have a time for another show? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
Yeah. So a CRM is essentially a place where everything can get recorded as far as your marketing contact. So a place where if someone engages with your brand or your product, you have their information, you've got their contact information in one place. And it's a database. So it's a database full of multiple marketing contacts. Well, that's very powerful because you now have a place where there's people that have opted in that say they want to hear from you or are interested in you and they want information. And so a CRM will help guide the process internally for your sales staff and your marketing staff to understand how one person gets from here, so the lead, all the way to the show home to then purchase. And it captures that whole evolution in one system. So anyone in a company can go in and look at Sally or John and understand their journey within your brand. And with that, the executive also get what they want, and that's reporting. So they want to know, if I'm spending $1 million on marketing, where is it going? How is it tracked? And that's what a CRM will do. It will track all of that in one place. For salespeople, it's a great tool because salespeople, admin work isn't their favorite. They are salespeople for a reason, and that is to sell. So why not have a system that's going to do some of the administrative work for you in the background while you're selling? And so that could be as easy as Sally walks in the show home, she's put into the system, she either fills something out or whatever the case may be. And within 24 hours, the system sends out a thank you, nice seeing you email, great to have you in the show home, without the salesperson actually having to remember to do that. Plus many more sequences that they can build, right? Newsletters, blogs, which are also important for like SEO and your website, they can all be generated in this CRM and pumped out automatically without you having to remember and do things. So it's something that works in the background to capture leads and nourish them throughout without you having to like remember who's who and where you're at and all of that stuff.
Very cool. And so Cityblock will manage all of that. Will create the sequences, create
Absolutely, yeah,
all the data
yeah,
tracking. Very cool.
absolutely, yeah. So what I want to say is what happens with CRMs is it's not the fact that people don't understand them or don't need them. They do, and they know that. It's that they'll go and do a search. A company will adopt a HubSpot, let's say, and say, that's the one we're going with. They'll pay a subscription. HubSpot will say, thank you very much. Here's the package. And then they're like, okay, how do we build this thing out? How do we train it? All of that. And so that's where we come in. We understand your business. We understand how your sales cycles work, your marketing programs. And then we build custom around that within the tool. We train everybody, multiple training sessions. And then now you have something that works, that everyone knows to use because of the training and the implementation and the build out and all that stuff. So that's what we do. We know that people are just left at the CRMs and paying a ton of money, and we come and help make sure they know how to use it.
Funny enough, we do use HubSpot, and if you were open to taking people outside the development industry, I might have to hit you up on that. So we'll talk after, but
Yeah,
I might need your help. Because it's true, there's so many things that we have it, and it's this big, expensive, beautiful, Ferrari that I'm sure we're not using to its greatest capacity. So, yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna say super powerful, but sometimes we're not utilizing all the horsepower, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sure we're a good case study for that, for sure. Can you share some examples of how you've helped developers successfully market and sell their projects?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you kind of the common case studies that come our way. So it's back to the point I made at the beginning about disjointed strategies and communications. So a successful engagement with Cityblock would be, we would come in, we would look at the marketing, we would look at the sales teams, and we would say, is there a gap? And if there is, which usually there is, it's how do we bring the two together so they're feeding each other all this great information. So that's where the CRM comes in. And then we look at it individually. So we look at marketing then and say, okay, what are you doing for marketing? How are your digital ads? How is your social media? How's all those things, SEO, all that stuff? And the sales teams are like, okay, what are you doing for the buyer's journey? How are you, how are you engaging, and et cetera, et cetera. And so then we build solutions within what we do with them. And the most successful situations, and I would say that our sweet spot is that builder or developer that has between 1 and 3 marketing people internally, and then we're the rest of the team. So we fill in the gaps of what the team isn't either specialized in or has time to do. And we'll just come in and fill those gaps. So we are parachuted in. We're almost like the team. We sit at the table, and we bring it all together. So that would be a successful venture. And there's multiple clients we do that with, where then it's a full service and they feel like they're juicing all they can without hiring more people, training more people. We are the people. We come in and take care of it. So
amazing. Geographically, by the way, I know, of course, you're in Calgary. Are you doing work outside of Calgary as well?
Yeah, we are. So Alberta, we've so Edmonton, Lethbridge, Calgary, BC, Kelowna area. We just got extended into Winnipeg, so that's going to be our first in Winnipeg, which is fantastic. Super excited about that. And we've done stuff in Ontario. Yeah, we've done stuff in Ontario as well. So I would say like Central West to date is kind of our geographical reach.
Very cool. I imagine there's not a lot of restrictions as far as, doing business in Ontario. Like you still the same marketing plan, same strategies, just understanding the customers in a different way, I suppose. But I imagine there's not a lot of limits as far as where you can go with this. So yeah, very cool. Yeah. How do you foresee? You've kind of mentioned a little bit, like post-COVID, how things have kind of evolved. Where do you see the future of real estate marketing going? Especially as more and more weight goes onto digital marketing. Where do you think things are going here?
Yeah, I think right now we're getting a lot thrown at us. Try this, do this. This will make your life easier. So we're still in that. I think the consumer, being the builders and developers, are going to get a little bit smarter. And they're going to say, hold on, we still believe in, like I said, a little bit of the boots on the ground. And they're going to watch some technology that's lasted. So in our industry, builders watch builders all the time. And there's some that will adopt earlier than others. And there are some that are good waiting to see what happens. So I see there's a lot of noise right now, but then I see that things are going to start to get a little bit more refined and defined moving into the future. and it's just going to be a dance between tech and good old boots on the ground. I've heard of concepts that have happened in the past where there's like show homes may go away and there may be one brick and mortar building somewhere in the city where someone can go visit a brand and see all the places they build, all the plans, all in one spot, and then they're kind of sent out to that area. That could happen, but still, it's manned by people. Yeah, it's manned by people. So right now, it's a lot of noise, man. Like I can tell you, our clients come to us and send us things all the time, and they're like, "Hey, have you heard of this? Check this out." For them, we're kind of the first like filter, and we're like, I don't think it's a fit, right? Like, or it hasn't. There's no proof of concept or whatever. So there's a lot of that happening because everyone's jumping on this AI. It's going to be easier and cheaper. It's never easier and it's never cheaper. It's just value driven. So you got to pay for it, but you're going to get some good stuff. It's not, this cheap thing and like quick and easy. That just doesn't work.
Totally. Very cool. Awesome. And now for a few fun questions. If you could market any property in the world, what property would that be and why?
I can tell you what I would love to get into. Like our kind of next thing would be like recreational or like recreational real estate. So like Mexico, like somewhere like hot places, right? Like really cool places. So that kind of product, like villas or condos in Costa Rica or wherever, that would be really cool for us. Yeah, it'd be awesome to do some like cool building. Like we've done some cool buildings in Calgary, but if Toronto called us for like one of their top, say, rental buildings or whatever, yeah, that'd be very cool. But that whole recreational kind of fly away and go somewhere warm would be awesome.
I love that. I love that example. In a previous life, I actually did sales for a resort property magazine. And I love doing that. It was so much fun. I was really good at it. I doubled the magazine in my first go, the size of it. But it was all, I was reaching out to, people in Mexico and, in Cuba and Dominican, well, you name it. Huge market there. And you're absolutely right. I mean, they're selling to this market, to Calgarians especially. So it's kind of a no-brainer. I love that idea. Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Very cool. If you could recommend any book, obviously there's a property management podcast. You're not exactly in the property management world, but definitely it kind of relates to it. What book would that be, and why?
Oh man, I think it's called Buy Back Your Time. Buy Back Your Time, I believe. I may have got that wrong, but anyway, I'm reading it now, and it is transformational, man. Like it's all about leaning on your team and really looking at what you're doing in the business that maybe others can be doing so you can focus on what you're really good at, obviously to grow the business and get yourself in different markets or whatever the case may be. And just how to do that it is unreal. Like it's a incredible book. It's resonating with me at this point in my journey in a big way. And I'm starting to test it. And so far I've been testing some concepts with the team and it's impressive. It really is. So, yeah.
I love it. So it's really like eliminating the overlap of people doing responsibilities. Is that what I'm hearing? Like it really defining who does what?
More around you as a founder and you buying back your time to do what you should be doing and contributing to the overall vision, including your personal life. Because as entrepreneurs, we can burn out. We can have family issues. Like there's a whole bunch of things that come with owning your business. It's saying you don't need to do that. This is how you can be very successful. And in fact, probably more successful by adopting these concepts. And and
Cool.
truly living the life you do want to. It's not saying be lazy and like, no, it's not, but it's also saying don't grind. It's actually saying you don't need to grind. This is how you do it. It's a really
Oh
cool
yeah.
concept. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I really like it. Sounds like somewhere in between like E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber and the 4 Hour Work Week. Sounds like a combination
Yeah.
of the two and maybe
Yeah.
traction
Yeah.
in there too. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Awesome.
is.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a
It's
great book.
reference. Yeah. Referenced in the book as well. So some of those concepts,
Mm,
yeah, the
right
author's
on.
brought, he's read tons of books and kind of made this, and it's resonating for me. So I encourage anyone else
Right
to.
on. Thank you. Thank you, Reef. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Where can people connect with you?
The typical socials, right? Go Cityblock is our
Yeah.
handle, or our website, gocityblock.com. And me personally, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn and want to double down even more. So I'm buying back some of my time to do that because in the end, that helps everything.
Yes.
So what, Arif Maherali, you just watch me personally on there. That's my place. So
Amazing. Amazing. We'll put those links both those links on the YouTube channel. So
great.
awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Arif. Congratulations. You're still a young business, 2018, but boy, you've seem to have had a lot of success so far, and wishing you so much more success as you go. And I can't wait to watch your journey. It's pretty cool to see the entrepreneurial spirit. I love it. So keep it going.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. And happy to pop on a podcast anytime.
Right on. It means a lot. Thank you. All right. Take care.
All right, man.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.